Welcome, everyone, to the Commentary Podcast. I am your host, Pat Brennan.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another weekly film news. I am your host, Pat, and as always, my co-host Tony is here. And Tony, how's your week been?
Good, you got the film news over there.
Heard you got the film news over there.
What's up, Pat? How's it going?
I know it's going. It's Saturday morning when we're recording this, so we're fresh off of seeing one of the new releases and excited to talk about it. How's it going
Yeah,
for you?
I feel good. And these days, I feel like feeling good is a win.
Sometimes you gotta take the wins. You gotta take the wins.
I'm taking them. Yeah, no. There's a lot of good stuff this week that I'm really excited to talk about. Just a lot of good, a lot of meh, and a lot of just doing what we usually do on film news. I'm just excited to be here. I always like coming back to this and doing this. Sometimes I just feel like you can just focus on doing stuff that makes you happy just to like kind of
hmm
get through stuff.
That's perfectly put because that's what I'm currently doing. So this is my favorite part of the week too. It's this is
Hmm.
we look forward to this every week. We say it every episode, but this is our favorite thing of the week, and love talking all the film news with you.
Yeah, I feel like we have like a good solid ground of like people that get their film news from us, but for some reason there's like this wall that's been put up that we aren't like able to reach new people. And I'm just trying to like get curious about like how to fix that or like how to change up like engagement. I just want our podcast to find more people.
We're trying to reach as many ears as we can, and we just started a new series that we hope
Hmm.
hope reaches some ears too. And we're very excited to continue that journey and continue this weekly film news. We love doing it. We love
Yeah.
doing it.
I just want to find more people. I want to find more
Mm,
listeners. And I feel like this is probably the most meaty film news format that is out there. I feel very confident saying that we do our homework. And I think that this is a good commentary on the industry.
I 100% agree. It's very meaty, and we put a lot of work into this, and it shows just how much work we put in. And we have our listeners, and we're hoping to break down those walls and get more listeners there. Break them down like the Kool-Aid Man. So we're gonna break them down. So I guess with that, we can just get right into the new releases this weekend. And first up is The Devil Wears Prada 2, coming from 20th Century Studios. It is directed by David Frankel. It stars Anne Hathaway, Meryl Streep, Emily Blunt, and Stanley Tucci. Now, we saw this last night before we recorded this, and what are your like general thoughts of what you saw last night compared to the first film 20 years ago?
Yeah, saw The Devil Wears Prada 2 last night with you. I was pretty pleased overall. Can't wait to actually like give a solid review with you inside this episode. That is something new that we are doing, and want to
hmm
remind people that are coming back to listen to weekly film news that we are going to provide at least one review while we do these episodes. For The Devil Wears Prada 2, I had fun. I have some thoughts, but overall, could definitely see myself watching again. And I feel like that's a big flex right now for films that are coming out in theaters. What about you?
Yeah, I enjoyed it overall. It didn't stand out as much as the first one did, but I think overall, like it's a legacy sequel, and there's enough there for audiences to love. Like theater that I was in, people were clapping and stuff. Overall, there was this like feeling that was missing from it.
Hmm.
And I think for the longest time, I couldn't like figure out what it was. And it was kind of like a tonal thing. And maybe it's because it's just a different era of film. This is 20 years later and it's just a different era. But this film seemed to lean more into like business side as opposed to the fashion, which I thought was an interesting choice because the first one heavily relied on fashion. I mean, it was great to see all four of them together again. It's been 20 years and we both really loved the first film. And it was nice to see, everyone dusting off those clothes and putting them back on and being at runway together. Minus Emily Blunt. She doesn't work.
Yeah.
She doesn't work on a runway. But
There's a spoiler for you right there. For me, I guess I just kind of wanted to talk about this film in pieces. Not that it needs to be broken down like that, but just kind of to just offer a little bit more insight into like what's working, what's not working. For example, like with the original film from the original cast that stood out for me personally, what I was excited to come to the movie for was more Andy than anything, just because I
Mhm.
told you that Anne Hathaway's Andrea Sachs character is a timeless character. It just proved my opinion on that like right on its
Mm-hmm.
head. And then of course Nigel from Stanley Tucci, it's just always great. That's a good combo right there. That first part of the film felt fresh. Now, whenever we get into the story of it, it starts to say some things with what's going on with Andy and why she's back at Runway, and then also like the current climate and landscape of Runway. It's no longer like spoiler, it's no longer a magazine. Technically, it's more complex than that. I just thought that the film was really going somewhere solid in the first part of the film whenever it was saying something about layoffs and the minimizing of big companies and how
Mm-hmm.
this isn't just like affecting like for example the fashion industry but entertainment, you know, pharmacies. It's everywhere and it's happening to
Mm-hmm.
everybody. And nobody's talking about it because like you're not going to see an influencer like go out of their way to be like these studios need to get out of the creative department because creative films deserve to like be made and like people will go to the movies more. Like
Mm-hmm.
no, like it's gonna be like six studio execs who are gonna
Mm-hmm.
be like telling them like no, the film has to match the lighting of everything else that's on the streaming platform right now. It's only this cast because we only have one gay character, one diversity role that the current audience will accept. It's just so many things, right? It
Yeah.
starts getting there, but then in like the second half of the film, I'm kind of like, Gaga,
Random cameo.
the character assassination of Emily. It was getting there, and then it just got cold feet. It got
Mm-hmm.
cold feet and it backed out. But let me
Yeah.
go ahead and just wrap up what I'm thinking about this film. Overall, the story's okay. It's there. It's okay. It looks good.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of natural light. I was going to ask you about what you thought of the cinematography. It doesn't all have to be negative, guys. This is like this problem that I'm talking about has been in the industry for a very long time. It's not just something that's
Mm-hmm.
happening right now. It's just something that I'm currently getting frustrated with as I get older. And then the new characters that stood out to me, Caleb Heron's character in this film was great. He plays literally the new Andy. And then also Simone Ashley as Amari. Those characters, I was really looking forward to like seeing them have more comedy bits together and kind of go through the same like steps as Emily and Andy. I was looking forward to that a lot. Now, you got to do the original cast and then you got to do the new cast. And I feel like maybe in a sense you could have explained more about what Runway currently looked like. And you were telling me about this. You felt like it should have been more of like a fashion film than rather just like a
Mm-hmm.
business film. You could have done that with Caleb Heron and Simone Ashley's character.
Yeah.
They could have laid
Mm-hmm.
out the whole exposition in the span of like walking
Five
down the
minutes.
hallway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
walking down the
Mm-hmm.
hallway, getting lunch, and you know, kind of building up that world again. And I'm not completely knocking the script. It's more of just like the story that didn't work for me. I feel like that's going to get misconstrued and like, oh, you don't support strong women. You don't support strong women in film. No, it's not that at all. I
Mm-hmm.
actually love that Anne Hathaway's Andy is highlighted in this film rather than just like all this stuff is happening around her. She's kind of like the superhero in the film.
Yeah.
But for what you were asking, like what is missing here, I think just that true heart. You know, you have Anne Hathaway coming off of the fame of like The Princess Diaries in these really good roles that she was remembered for. Ella Enchanted. She has a good heart. She's a good heart character. For me, that's the answer is like what was missing. Like she needed to show Miranda something, but it ended up being just like, we're just women who want to work. That's all
Yeah.
it is. There wasn't really a
Mm-hmm.
development in Miranda's story. And then of course, you know, like there are complaints about like why is Miranda acting like this? Well, this is no longer a 56-year-old woman in the fashion industry. It's a 76-year-old woman.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
there's things that we won't never comprehend because we are not women.
Yeah, I think that like the same. Like it looked good. I saw it in the Screen X or whatever that theater is, where like
How was
it's
that?
projected it's projected like on the sides. It's very interesting. It not every scene is projected that way. So like some
Mm.
scenes are just like regular, there's the screen, but then like, oh, they're in the street now. Like here's part of the street. I don't really like know if they are using like AI to do that. I'm not entirely sure. It was a very interesting experience. I don't know if it's like my favorite experience. You're kind of just basically surrounded, and the things on the sides aren't really important to what's going on. So it's kind of just it's trying to like I guess immerse you in that environment that you're watching. Like they did it for like a boardroom scene, and I'm like, I don't know if we need this for a boardroom scene, but
I feel like that's like for like a movie like Tron, no?
yeah, yeah, it was interesting for the Devil Wears Prada that they did that. Like, I don't know if I would go into that kind of theater again, but it was just an interesting
Hmm.
experience. I've never been in one, so it was a very interesting experience. Also, it was the only like seat that was available to watch the movie, so
My first Screen X film was The Devil Wears Prada 2.
I mean, the cinematography looked good. I mean, nothing was wrong. And yeah, I'm kind of the same thing. It's like the story kind of like it almost got there, but then it didn't really get there. And then there is a whole subplot of like her having like kind of like a boyfriend kind of guy. And I was telling you, you could literally press delete here and nothing changes in this story. And
Hmm.
I think it's more of like still this like 2000s trope of these movies where like the girl has to have a guy in their relationship
Yeah, almost
and
like
the
a
film.
callback.
Yeah, and it's almost kind of like you don't need these story. Like Andy can still be an independent person. Like that's just who she is. Like you don't need to have this other character in here that doesn't really add anything. There's a kind of an awkward scene where they get into like a fight and it doesn't really like add anything to the plot. It's just kind of
Hmm.
like there. To me, like Nigel's always the heart of these films. When you see the movie, you'll know, especially this one, like, oh yeah, like for me, like the true heart of the film. But overall, I did enjoy it. I thought it was pretty solid, a pretty solid like outing for a sequel, and the people in my theater seem to like it a lot. And I'm interested to see like and hear what other people think about it. Like I know people are gonna have probably the same complaints we have, or they're gonna be like, no, I absolutely loved it, and I loved everything that
Yeah,
they did.
I guess I was just like really wanting this innovative story that didn't have to compromise the character of like one of the people that I really don't think that Emily would do any of that stuff that she did in The Devil
Yeah.
Wears Prada 2. I'm sorry, but she wouldn't.
Yeah.
Like there's been this thing recently where I'm really considering like, wow, these studios really do think like I'm stupid and like I'm not gonna realize some things. Like that was like
Mhm.
kind of like half baked a little bit. I know this character because I watched that movie like 10,000 fucking times growing up. Like I know that Emily
Mhm.
would not do that.
Yeah, no, I agree. The direction Emily's character goes isn't great. It seems like she's kind of just used and like thrown to the wolves to be the catalyst of what's going on. And it's a little disappointing what they do with her character, is what I'll say.
You want to know something funny about that though? I more or less knew that was going to be the case, not from the film, but from the promotion from
Hmm.
the film. All from Emily Blunt's pose for the Runway magazine and the movie posters. She's crossing her arms and her little black gloves are like like
Hmm.
it's just the exact pose. It just gave me like a little bit of like a indicator that this might be going that direction.
Yeah, probably didn't even notice that. Now that I go back and look at him, I'll be like,
Oh
oh yeah,
yeah,
it's pretty
go
obvious.
look at the Runway magazine and you can
Hmm.
see pretty clearly. I mean, all of it's there, like the red backdrop, the black. She's
Hmm.
dressed in all black. It's right there for you. I do kind of feel
A little bit of disappointment, I
a
guess.
little bit of fatigue. I'm feeling
Fatigue. Mm.
fatigued, man. I'm feeling
Hmm.
fatigued.
It's a legacy sequel, and even like the new characters, like you mentioned, they're not really like adding anything to the. They're kind of just like there, like they're not really doing much. It's kind of a thing where you're just like, I mean, I enjoy what's going on. Like I'm having fun, but nothing new is being broken like ground wise here. This is Devil Wears Prada 2. Yeah, it's a Devil Wears Prada 2.
Hmm.
Same characters. I enjoyed it overall. I thought it was a solid time, but it's nothing like groundbreaking to me. It's just it's a fun movie. It's fun.
Either way of like what I'm saying, like all of these complaints about this film, it's gonna have great legs. So next week is the Met Gala, and that was intentional. This whole situation of where like The Devil Wears Prada 2 is dropping within the box office year is intentional because there is a tie-in promo at the Met Gala
Mm.
for The Devil Wears Prada 2. It's gonna be a little interesting seeing this cast at the Met Gala whenever they are doing a satire film. I mean, obviously, like Emily and Justin Theroux's character are parodies of specific people out there. Jeff
Hmm.
Bezos and his wife, you
Yeah.
know?
Is Justin
And
Theroux gonna have that makeup on too?
yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. It is a little like, life imitating life kind of thing, but it's gonna have its legs. This is gonna perform. I have all these complaints about the story, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day.
Mm.
It should, but it doesn't.
I think we both did enjoy aspects of it. We're not like being super negative on it. We just wish that sometimes these stories would do a little more and they try to get there and then they kind of just pull back a little bit. So we both enjoyed it. And if you're listening, I hope you did go see it and enjoy it too. I mean, the theater was packed last night, so it was good to see the movie theaters packed. So that brings us to our next release this week, and that is Hokum, coming from Neon. It is directed by Damien McCarthy and stars Adam Scott, Peter Coonan, David Wilmot, and Austin Emilio. I have heard some pretty solid things about this film. And it's nice to see, again, Adam Scott in a horror film. It seems Severance has kind of resurrected him to become like a leading man, which is kind of cool. And he's always been that like comedic side guy. I think he was also in Big Little Lies. I think he played one of the husbands in Big Little Lies. But yeah, I'm still really excited to check this out. It feels very like Neon-esque horror kind of film.
Watching the trailer, these films that Neon selects have such a good way of submerging the viewer into a different part of the world inside of an entire tale. It's like an immersive thing, but like you never get it. And it's not like a gimmick either. It's just like how well the movie's shot and made and how good the story is. Yeah, Adam Scott staying at this inn, you know, he has his parents' ashes, he's a writer, and then there's like all these strange like characters around him and he's trying to figure out what's going on. I think one of the employees of the inn goes missing, and that's all you need right there. And then you have all of these really cool shots, this buildup of like horror. I like horror movies like this. I'm very excited to see how this performs. Yeah, it's always great whenever a film performs great, but for Neon, it doesn't matter in the sense that like Neon has their core audience and they'll go no matter what. Whenever I feel like people hear that part, they'll be like, oh, okay, so like you'll go to a bad movie. Like, no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like, even if a movie were not to be like that was okay. They're gonna go to the next one because it's Neon, and they know that Neon has some sleeper hits that end up making it to the Academy Awards. But with Hokum, I like the witchy vibe of like the character. It's not necessarily paranormal. It's not necessarily like witchcraft. It's like the perfect kind of like tie-in like with mystery and all that. We don't know what's going on there. You know, there's a freaky mask or
Yeah.
character thing. That thing would give me nightmares. And
Yeah, with the
I
huge
hear that
eyes.
yeah, with the huge eyes. I've never really taken into consideration until like this year, like how you can make a character look scary with like their eye shape or like, you know, like that kind of thing. The design, it's good. It's a good character design. But yeah, Adam Scott, I think I saw a podcast journalist interview Adam Scott and tell him about how his performance as Ben in Parks and Rec meant a lot to him. And I'd say like I'm around the same place with it. Adam Scott as Ben was so cool, and I think he's funny, and he's a male lead in a horror film. Like that's pretty cool.
It's
And
awesome.
yeah, he's a male lead. We don't see a lot of that. I guess like where I'm going with that is that he has to have a girlfriend or he has to have like a partner with him or something. This seems to be like I like the like singular lead story going down. And we're actually going to talk about another film that's that way as well with Hokum. Also the right amount of promo. There's another film right now trying to drown out this film with promo. That other film doesn't come out until like 2 weeks. I mean, I've barely seen anything for Hokum. Neon isn't going to go out of its way to do extra to cancel out what's happening right now. I know it's the beginning of the month, but if you support horror and you want other horror films to do well outside of yours, of course, a big studio isn't going to care about that. They're just
Yeah.
going to run right over it. That's kind of been giving me a little bad taste in my mouth. So I just wanted to note that as well.
I loved everything you said, and you're right. Like Neon knows how to market their things. They've done that for a while. They're not going to be the huge studio that overpowers you with, say, films like The Mummy that just came out, where from a studio horror film, you kind of know the same beats you're going to get. And I love with like Neon and these more like smaller horror films, like you're not knowing what you're going to get when you go into that. And I
Yeah.
think that's what's
Yeah, the
great about these.
surprise.
I think that's what's great about it. And Neon seems to know their market. And yeah, it's great to see Adam Scott like leading this horror film. And I mean, I always know him from Boy Meets World. Like his first performance was in Boy Meets World. So
Hmm.
you're spot on. Like Neon knows how to market things. I will say like their marketing kind of starts to feel like it's doing like the long legs kind of marketing, where it's like a lot of their films are kind of like that, like how they're marketed like that. But it works. And Neon has established itself as like a, hey, like we have these horror films, but we also have Oscar noms coming at the end of the year. So I think they're being run very well, and Hokum looks great. I think we're both excited to see Hokum.
It's a well-rounded, formulaic approach to marketing, and it's not overwhelming. I feel like everything right now that is from the, how many studios are there in Hollywood, Pat? Four right now?
Yeah, like four running
Pretty
everything.
much.
Basically. Yeah.
So I would say that those four studios overwhelm the feed with marketing. Whenever you only follow inside of your algorithm is the marketing from these studios, you notice how intense it is, and that's all you see. And I feel
Yeah.
like they're just doing the same exact thing as
Hmm.
influencers on TikTok, man. It's the
Yeah.
same exact thing. Let me flood
Hmm.
your feed with this. And then
Yeah.
you're going to be so annoyed by it at the end. You're going to be like, well, fine, I'll get it. I'll watch it. I guess I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's exactly that. It's just the landscape of marketing has changed so much, and
hmm.
Neon seems to know what they're doing, but some other studios kind of just overwhelm you with everything. And we'll see how marketing trends continue as the years go on. But yeah, it seems to be over flooded influencer stuff now. You're right. You're right. So that brings us to our final release this week, and that is Swapped, coming from Netflix. It is directed by Nathan Greeno, and it stars Academy Award winner Michael B. Jordan, Juna Temple, Tracy Morgan, Cedric the Entertainer, and Justina Machado. Nice little Netflix animated film.
Remember whenever we saw Juno Temple walking out of lunch
Oh yeah,
and
we did. We
she
did see
just
Juna
looked
Temple.
right at us? We just looked back
I was
and
like, hey,
like,
that's Juna Temple. That's Juna Temple right there.
that was the first celebrity I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
Yep.
Damn. There you
Yep.
go. Juno Temple.
Juno
Hey, so
Temple.
Juno, if you're listening to this, Juno Temple, first celebrity. First celebrity.
So yeah, Swapped. It's from Skydance. And I think you can tell pretty easily that it is not just a cut dry, like wild animal film. There's some leaps with the animation. I feel like that's going to be an apprehensive part of it. Like some of
Hmm.
the animals are wearing like flowers or like have floral dressings on their body.
Hmm.
For me, it reminds me of Fantasia 2000 Firebird Suite. That's the vibe it gave me with the wolf and the antagonist character and everything. What I want to focus more on is this voice cast. Of course, the animation's important here because they work so hard to do these films. They spend years doing it. But
Hmm.
also, I bet that there's a good amount of dialogue in this cast. Otherwise, you wouldn't have Michael B. Jordan and Juno Temple and Tracy Morgan and Cedric the Entertainer in it. Like, I know that sometimes Netflix is dinged for this is background TV. You're going to be checking your
Yeah.
phone or something like that.
Hmm.
This might be another sleeper hit as far as
Yeah.
like,
No.
of course it started before Flow, but there was this like new trend in like adults getting curious about animation again.
Hmm.
And like Shrek's coming out. There's a couple of other things coming out as well, but there's like less shame around watching an animated film as an adult. Cool guy, Michael B. Jordan, Academy Award winner Michael B. Jordan, he's in this project. I feel like he's like kind of breaking barriers by even just like doing a film like this after his Sinners Oscar win.
I agree too. Like sometimes these films, I mean, look at the success of K-pop Demon Hunters last year on Netflix. Like it was kind of just dumped on there, and a few weeks went by, and everyone was like, "Hey, have you seen K-pop Demon Hunters? This movie's awesome." And this very well could be that same thing where it's put on Netflix yesterday, and families put it on, and they really like it a lot, and then people are like, "Hey, this movie's actually pretty solid." Or it could be like that you said, like sometimes these things do fall into like the background, and they kind of just go away. But I think animation always does very well on streaming. Like it always does
Hmm.
very well because that's just like the market for it now because a lot of families are just at home. It looks like a solid, fun, like family film. Like it's nothing that's going to be like crazy. It's just going to be like, hey, this like I'm having a lot of fun. This voice cast is great. It's great to see Michael B. Jordan again leading something like just doing his voice and the animation looks pretty solid. And yeah, as much as like Netflix gets like I guess like a bad rap or like how they kind of control a lot of the streaming things, like they have sleeper hits, and you never know. This could get legs to become a sleeper hit, and who knows? It could be in the Oscar conversation next year for best animated feature. We have no idea, but curious to see if people that have seen this, if they like it, and if it does get legs like a K-pop Demon Hunters, and like everyone's like swapped is a great film. Everyone needs to watch it.
As you're saying all this, I feel like I am maturing in the sense of like what I perceive Netflix as. I feel like it's a necessary evil. And what I
Hmm.
mean by that is that as we get older, I'm realizing how much of an experienced guy that I am. That is a big deal whenever it comes to like picking how you're going to watch a movie or how you're going to intake films that are important to you. And of course, like this is releasing on Netflix, so you really don't have a choice. But I'm sure that this would have done well in theaters, is my only point there. But where I'm getting at with the experience thing is that this film with this cast and the topic of this film about like finding friendship and like coming to understand somebody that isn't like you in an animated film
Mm-hmm.
something really, really warms my heart in a way to think that, like, even like tonight or the day that we're recording this podcast episode, that there's going to be like a mom and a dad, or maybe it's just a mom and her kids, or maybe it's just a dad and her kids that make popcorn and like
Mm-hmm.
food together. And then they put this on at nighttime and watch it together. That is an experience that Netflix is providing. So is it necessarily all bad? Is
Mm-hmm.
it? I don't know.
No.
I'm still asking that to
Yeah.
myself. It's a good point. I bitch a lot about this stuff, but also like that kind of stuff happens too where I'm like, I am growing up like in real
Mm-hmm.
time. Maybe the streaming services can offer that and maybe good
Mm-hmm.
shit can be on there.
It's a fair like argument. It's like, hey, you never know. Like you said, someone could be Saturday night. We're gonna watch Swapped. We're gonna make popcorn. We're gonna make some food. We're all gonna sit on the couch and we're gonna watch it for the hour and a half that it is, and it's gonna be fun. It's just a family film, and we're gonna have a lot of fun doing it. And I mean, I hate to say it, they probably saved $100 from going to the movie theaters. Like that's the counter argument to it. It's like you have these films here that save you money.
And the most important thing about it is they created a memory with their kid. They created a memory just from like being at home and being able to turn on Netflix. So maybe, yeah, whenever we're all bitching about streaming prices, maybe that's what we're paying for, the
Hmm.
opportunity of a memory.
That's exactly it. The opportunity of memory. I couldn't have said it better. Couldn't have said it better.
Netflix, my email is
They're like, yes, sir. Yes, yes, yes.
yes, anything you want.
So just to recap, the new releases this week are The Devil Wears Prada 2, Hokum, and Swapped. If you've seen any of them, all of them, please let us know if you like them or not. We have our thoughts on one of them, and we're excited to watch the other two. We're excited to watch the other two. So that brings us to the VOD releases this week. And Exit 8 from Neon is now on VOD. Forbidden Fruits from IFC is now on VOD. Hoppers from Disney Pixar is now on VOD. And They Will Kill You from Warner Brothers is now on VOD. Tony, what is your serious and unserious pick of the bunch?
Good week for VOD
Hmm.
release. Someone at work asked me what a VOD release is, and I realized that, sometimes casual people like don't know the answer to things and
Hmm.
like people laugh in their face. All you have to do is explain it. Video on demand. That's it. That's all.
Video on
That's
demand, yeah.
all.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's so if you don't know what VOD releases are, it's video on demand. And if anybody laughs in your face whenever you ask more things about film, kick them out. My serious pick is obviously Hoppers. I have apprehension whenever it comes to this film, watching it by myself, because I do know that it is about animals, and I know that there's
Hmm.
a element of death and trauma in it. So I will
Hmm.
watch that with a friend, hopefully. And then my unserious pick, I'm gonna avoid those two films and choose Exit 8 because I don't know a lot about the video game. It's just like a good horror film, it seems like, and it's from Neon. So I'll choose Exit 8 as my unserious. What about you?
I think that might be my serious pick, Exit 8, because I've heard, yeah,
Nice.
it's a video game and it looks interesting. I never heard of the video game before this movie even came out, and I heard the game's kind of like scary, I guess, in a way. So curious to check that out. And I guess unserious, maybe Forbidden Fruits, not like in a bad way. It just kind of like seems like a very like campy, like cult movie. So I've heard that it gets kind of crazy in it. So yeah, I'm kind of curious to check that one out too. Check that one out too. So that brings us to the trailers of the week. And first up is Jackass Best and Last, coming from Paramount. It is directed by Jeff Tremaine. It stars Johnny Knoxville, Steve-O, Chris Pontius, Jason Weeman Acuna, Preston Lacey, Dave England, Danger Aaron McCaney, Sean Poopies McElhenney, Zach Holmes, Jasper Dolphin, and Rachel Wolfson. They said this is the last one. I thought Jackass Forever was the last one, but this is the last one now. This is Jackass 5, and same director, directed all five, and it's nice to see them all kind of just doing it again. They're doing it again.
As crazy as these movies are, there is something that just feels so comforting about seeing
Hmm.
Johnny Knoxville and all of his friends do this stuff. He has been so emotional in interview after interview talking about this movie. I didn't realize how much of a animal guy he is, but he gets
Hmm.
really sad whenever stuff happens with animals on these, professionally advised like
Hmm.
stunts and everything like that. But if something goes like horribly wrong, he's not allowed to like work with those animals ever again or be with them.
Hmm.
And he gets
Hmm.
really, really emotional about it. This is like the last film of the Jackass
Saga.
energy and all, yeah, of the
Yeah.
Jackass saga. And these are good pop culture moments. I feel like every
Hmm.
time one of these rolls out, it is kind of crazy to think about where we were as a nation
No.
and as a world whenever the last one came out. But I don't know necessarily if the generation underneath the generation below us
Yeah. Hmm.
would like get it. and be like,
Yeah.
why
Like
are
it's
these
too much
guys
for them.
yeah, like
Yeah.
why are these guys hurting themselves and each other? Like this
Hmm.
isn't funny. This was like slapstick. Would you say this was like the Three Stooges of our generation?
Yeah. It's like the different generation. Like, you know how now it's like YouTubers pulling pranks on people. They only
Mm-hmm.
pulled pranks on themselves. They weren't like doing to other people.
Yeah.
Occasionally they would. It was more of just like them doing it to themselves. It was more of like an internal thing. And it was like, this is like the original like YouTube. Those people that do those pranks and
Yeah.
stunts, like
Yeah.
Jackass, that was on MTV in like early 2000s and they were doing this stuff on MTV.
This is interesting commentary for sure because why is Jackass able to cut through all of like the last like 25 years like butter and just
Hmm.
be like a tried and true like you know what you're getting Jackass movie, but like with Scary Movie, with Naked Gun, films that you can't make now. Like what's that film for
Hmm.
you?
Kind of like even like a raunchy comedy. It's like you probably can't even make stuff like that anymore.
Yeah, but like a title. Think of like one of the titles that we've said. Like
Like a
American
step
Pie.
American Pie, yeah. Perfect example,
American
American
Pie.
Pie.
Okay,
Mhm.
you almost said what was it? Step Brothers?
Step Brothers, yeah. Kind of like that vibe.
Why can't Step Brothers and American Pie come out in 2026? But over here on this end, where these guys are saying fuck and like all of these crazy words and
Hmm.
doing all this insane shit on IMAX screens, cuts through culture like butter, but you can't do these ones. It's
Hmm.
insane to think about. I want to dive into this.
It's an interesting conversation because, like, yeah, it's like maybe that generation below the one below. I don't know what they're called either. I don't know what that generation's called. They might not understand, like, and think this isn't funny, but like we think this is like it's just a different thing, and they're probably like, I don't understand, like, why is this funny? Like, I'd rather watch a YouTuber pull a prank. It's like, well, you wouldn't have YouTubers if you didn't have these guys, and they wouldn't have Jackass if you didn't have like stunt guys in movies and stuff like doing this stuff. So like it's all like a cycle, and it was a very low budget kind of thing that they were filming. They were just using like camcorders to like just do stuff. But Jackass was a huge thing in the early 2000s, and a lot of people watched it.
Speaking of like how it was like the supremacy of like our culture, like as growing up as little boys, there were skate brands, you know, that like there were so many like spin-off series like
Yeah,
Bam
Viva La Bam.
Margera,
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, Viva La Bam. So many different things that these guys did and contributed to just like growing up as a boy that like made it fun to like be part
Hmm.
of like all the hoopla and everything like that. And then obviously like you know that these guys have lost friends along the way. They have really stepped into their, you know, adult lives and I'm sure like some of them have children now and everything like that. It's very compelling to me how you can have a Jackass film out in 2026, but there's a lot of films and a lot of elements and a lot of things about our childhood that have to be left behind because they're deemed as that's like canceled now. Like that's not okay
Hmm.
now. You can't make that movie now. You can't say that joke now.
There's probably people that would try to cancel this, be like, no, you can't do this stuff now. You can't do this. It's like, yeah, it's just like a different time period. And yeah, I'm sure if they went back and watched some of that stuff, they'd be like, wow, this is disgusting what they were doing. And the generations, I guess, just have different opinions on stuff. And hey, we like Jackass, so we think Jackass is funny.
Yeah, no, I mean, I never thought I would be having the conversation of like that our generation is okay with sex and nudity in film and
Hmm.
actually is calling for more like nudity in film just because like that's the human body and like we aren't born with clothes on, but the generations below us, they want less sex in film and
Yeah.
less nudity in movies. And that's really, really weird to me how you are not comfortable like seeing a naked body. That's like
Hmm.
literally how you're born. There's just like a bunch of things about this that really freak me out.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, kind of like, can you go over there?
Hmm. This is like the end of an era. I feel like this is the end of an era for like our childhood, and it's nice to see them all coming back, and I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see it. So that brings us to our next trailer, and that is Verity, coming from Amazon and MGM. It is directed by Michael Showalter. It stars Dakota Johnson, Anne Hathaway, Josh Hartnett, and Ismael Cruz Cordova. Another Colleen Hoover adaptation. Anne Hathaway, another film coming out with Anne Hathaway. Pretty solid cast. Michael Showalter is a very interesting director to make this. He made Wet Hot American Summer and The Big Sick, which was nominated for an Academy Award for a screenplay. And I think he's made some kind of rom-coms, but like, yeah, this is a very interesting film. And yeah, I know this is a very popular book, or it was a couple years ago, but again, we're getting another Colleen Hoover adaptation in film.
I mean, it's just like what you're saying, like with the cast and the director. I feel like if you want to work in the industry right now, it is a rite of passage to work on one of these films. They're just there and the
Yeah.
studios want them. I guess like it's no surprise or like a secret anymore that I even care to conceal that I don't like Colleen Hoover. So whenever it came to watching the trailer for this and everything, I'm like, this is gonna do what it's supposed to do with the audience. For me, with Verity and with a bunch of Colleen Hoover novels, like, I'm sorry, but I'm just not gonna stick around for the romanticization of like really, really bad relationship
Hmm.
stuff. And also just more of like that these films and these novels are just meant to shock, and that's it. They don't have a bottom line. That's just it. That works on some people, and I'm not saying like those people are dumb. I'm not saying that if you like Colleen Hoover, like you're stupid or something like that. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that it doesn't work for me. And yeah, that's it.
No, I agree. Like, I've never read one of her books. I think I've mentioned it before on the podcast, but yeah, it seems like they're kind of more, like you said, shock value and made for shock value for general audiences. And I think the cast is actually pretty solid. But I mean, yeah, like I do have issues when authors and stuff like romanticize trauma in a way. Sometimes it's like that's not the route that people should be going. And Colleen Hoover has had like this is like her fourth adaptation now that's been made into a film, or third or fourth. And
Hmm.
I think she might even have more coming out, but
Yeah, she's
yeah.
taking that shit to the bank, man. That's like kind of like where I have to start griping is that like I guess like where a lot of my fatigue is coming from right now is I really miss people like Robert Redford that were fighting against it just being movies like these in the box office calendar. Is just that there's like not a lot of films out for me right now. Maybe that's where my fatigue is coming from.
It's a fair thing to say. Like sometimes it's just these are all this just isn't for us. Like it just isn't when you watch the trailer. And I love
Yeah, I
like
mean,
it.
like you
And
can hear us getting pissed off about it as we're
yeah,
talking about it. I feel like
yeah.
in our weekly film news shows, we try to maintain this positivity, but we're like looking for gold right now. And
Hmm.
we're getting to the gold. I feel like we're about to hit that good point where like where we're actually excited for something, but this is a real moment. This is a real moment on our podcast episode and in the industry is that like there is not a lot of shit out there for us right now.
Hmm.
We have to go back into classic Hollywood. We have to go back
Hmm.
into the 70s, 80s, 90s. That's all we watch. It's not
Exactly it.
okay.
We're just trying to find, like you said, that gold thing. Like,
Am
and
I blowing
Verity,
your
like,
mind right now?
yeah, like you said, it's not for us, and it's kind of a thing where not everything is for everybody. But good for Anne Hathaway getting another lead role and gonna have a huge year. But yeah, we're trying to find the gold of classic cinema in today's films, and I think we're still searching for it. But maybe it's gonna come up soon. Maybe it's gonna come up soon. So that brings us to our next trailer of the week, and that is One Night Only, coming from Universal Pictures. It is directed by Will Gluck. It stars Monica Barbaro, Callum Turner, Maya Hawke, Julia Fox, Molly Ringwald, LeVar Burton, Estee Haim, Zoe, King Princess, Ben Marshall, and Nicholas Braun. Huge cast, and very interesting plot that I guess in this fictional world of New York City, if you're not married, you're not allowed to have sex. And it's kind of just like you take the plot of The Purge where you can do everything in one night. In this one night only, if you're single, you can have sex tonight. That's essentially the plot of the movie. I mean, it looks shot very well. Looks like it'd be a nice little kind of like solid, romantic, cozy kind of feeling of a vibe.
I'm interested. Will Gluck, first of all, good job, Easy A director right
Yeah.
there. I'm excited for this. I feel like the easy route whenever like you know how like there's a bunch of influencers who will break down a trailer in like the span
Hmm.
of like a 2 minute like TikTok or whatever and be like,
Hmm.
so this film is starring this person and then it's reminding
Hmm.
me of this. I feel like they're all
Hmm.
gonna go for the purge, obviously. They're gonna be like, this is like a sexy purge. To me, after watching the trailer and kind of getting a good feel of like the vibe of the movie, it gave me New Year's Eve and Valentine's Day
Mm.
vibes
Yeah.
more
It
than
did
the
feel very New
purge.
Year's Eve. Yeah. It did feel very New Year's
Exactly.
Eve.
See?
Hmm.
And they probably have never watched that shit. With this film, it gave me that vibe. I also wanted to just give Will Gluck his flowers because I feel like
Yeah.
he is commercializing this really special element whenever it comes to the topic of sex in film or films about sex. And there is a film about sex in 2026, and that is very, very rare.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to be talking about having sex. They're going to be talking
Mm-hmm.
about how they can only have sex one time. It's just like such a bad word right now where we're at, like with like society and culture and everything. Go Will Gluck for
Yeah.
making a movie about it. It's giving commercial Greg Araki. And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
this is definitely like a screenplay that would kind of intrigue Greg Araki. Like before watching the trailer, just like if you had the screenplay right here, this is kind of like a Greg Araki film. Like you're
Mm-hmm.
only allowed to have sex one day a year if you're not
Yeah.
married. I don't know if there's like a book that they're adapting it from, but it feels like that. I'm intrigued.
To go along with that, like it's nice to see like a studio making a film like this. It's
A risk. It's a
a
risk.
risk, yeah. Yeah. It's not like it's a over the top sexualizing. It's
Yeah.
more of just like a
Yeah.
conversation of it. And it's nice to see that, yeah, Will Gluck, I think he made Friends with Benefits too. Like he knows like that same kind of tone of film. And it's nice to see Universal like kind of doing this type of plot. It looks pretty solid overall. And I think it could be a film that comes out that people don't watch right away, but then over time they discover it and they really enjoy it.
I feel like Will Gluck has the Mike White effect. Let me kind of break that down a little bit. Like Will Gluck knows how to tiptoe on that line between general audience and audiences who can watch American Pie without being offended, if that makes
Hmm.
sense. Okay, so like Will Gluck is tiptoeing the line and like, yeah, this film will do what it's gonna do. There you go. You get the general audience on this coffee in the morning, like on a Monday at work kind of thing. Like, oh, like me and my girl just watched like One Night Only this weekend. And like, oh, how'd you like it? Oh, it was pretty good. Like it was about like having sex or whatever. Like, oh,
Yeah.
that's crazy, dude. It's like that. Will
Hmm.
Gluck is so good at delivering that to people.
Hmm.
I feel like the Sydney Sweeney movie and Glenn Powell, what was it?
Anyone but you?
Anyone but
Anyone
you?
but you.
Same thing. Same thing. Like, oh, dude, have you seen Anyone But You yet? No. Like, and then
Made
it
a lot of
depends.
money. Made a lot of
Yeah,
money.
it's like,
Yeah.
oh no, yeah, like that girl Sydney Sweeney's hot in it, and you're like, oh, what about the Glenn Powell guy? Like that guy too. He's
Mm.
like, man, I
Hmm.
wish I looked like that. It's good. It's
Yeah.
good. So Will Gluck is good at that, and I say that he has that Mike White, kind of feel to him because Mike White on the other side in like TV, he knows what people want. He knows
Hmm.
exactly the right amount of trashy and the right amount of story to put in the White Lotus. I just saw a clip of Carrie Coon in the White Lotus, and I was like, man, I don't remember it like being that dialogue touching me like that. Like Mike White is delivering that as well as like the sex and all of it. Like he knows
Hmm.
what people want. That's all I meant whenever I'm saying like Will Gluck. He's got a good thing going on for him.
I couldn't agree more. And he's becoming that studio director that can make these kind of films. I'm sure other studios will probably go to him to be like, hey, we have another story like this. Can you direct it? Because, I
I
mean, he's doing pretty well. He's doing pretty well for himself.
I feel like Will Gluck could like kind of change people's minds, like change the generation's like
Hmm.
minds about like how all this stuff. Like, oh, you can only
Hmm.
have sex one time a year. I feel like people are like that about sex right now. Like they tiptoe around it. You're seen as a pervert if you talk about that stuff like
Yeah.
now.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
so weird. We're going backwards as a society. It's really, really
Yeah.
weird.
It's like you're not allowed to talk about it. Like it's exactly right. You're not allowed to talk about it in society. And maybe these films will start the conversation. That's what they're there for, to start the conversation. So that brings us to our next trailer this week, and that is Resident Evil, coming from Columbia Pictures. It is directed by Zach Kreger, stars Austin Abrams, Paul Walter Hauser, Zach Cherry, and Callie Reese. Now, Kreger's next film after Weapons. I loved the trailer. I thought it looked fucking great. I know you were telling me that some Resident Evil fans were not happy with what they saw, but I don't care.
I wasn't telling you, the internet was telling you. Have you gone and seen any of the comments underneath any of the
I
videos or
haven't,
anything
yeah. I've
like
kind of just
that?
like steered away from that.
Just don't, man.
Yeah.
It's not worth it right now.
Mm,
People are making videos about the fans reacting to the trailer. It's
oof.
getting that insane. First of all, initial reactions from the trailer. Your reaction,
Looks fucking great.
awesome.
Looks fucking great.
Yeah,
Looks awesome.
my reaction, I'm there. I'm so there already. Something about Zach Kreger's, the way he does films and everything, and the amount of attention and detail that he puts into it, even all the way from the screenplay, all the way to what the movie looks like and the tone that he's trying to give off. I loved Weapons. I loved Barbarian. I've been bitching about it this entire episode, like how nothing's for me. This is for me. That director wants me in that seat. And that's like
Yeah.
the kind of thing that I'm like, Heck yeah. And it's not that it's because horror. It's not because it's gaming. It's not because of the trend of Zach Kreger directing an Oscar winning actress last year. It's none of
Yeah.
that. It's the filmmaking aspect of it. He is a
Hmm.
filmmaker. And that's
Hmm.
why I want to be there. And that's the
Hmm.
coolest thing that you can have right now. It doesn't matter what the IP is or the genre. It's Zach Kreger. And I want to go
Yeah.
see him. I want to go support him. I like
Hmm.
that he has me as a fan like that. I sound like a fan. With that, I wanted to ask you, do you know who Paul W.S. Anderson is?
Yes, he made the original Resident Evil films with his wife,
Why are you
Mia
smiling like
Jovovich.
that?
No, I was just with his
You
wife,
don't
Mia
like them, do you?
Jovovich. I actually think I owned them somewhere.
Okay. What do you
Um,
think about the cinematography of it? No.
those ones were very, especially the first one. People that like the first one say like it's somewhat has the same elements of the game. It's
Hmm.
shot very like early 2000s. It's very shot, and I would say after those movies just like aren't great. Those movies made solid money at the box office for kind of like lower budgets. Like they weren't. They
Hmm.
were very like January releases. And I know that there was another one that came out a few years ago. It was like Welcome to Raccoon City, I think was
City.
another. Yeah, don't really remember that one, but I think many people were like, "This isn't a Resident Evil film." And but I think for this, like, I think it just looks great. And I think my only thing is people don't play these video games. So like when you're making these films, like you also have to take into account that people don't play the video games. So you can like kind of do what you want to do. And there's always going to be the people that do play the video games that are going to be very much like, oh wow, I'm not watching this. This isn't anything like the game. And you have to appeal to general audiences too. You can't just appeal to the thousands of people that just play this game. You have to appeal to general audiences. And I think Krager coming off Weapons, like I think he's probably the perfect director to direct something like this.
The reason that I asked is when you kind of like walked into exactly what I was wanting to hear you say from this, and I guess hear somebody else like talk about them. Talking about those films is complicated, right? They're successful, but like they look a certain way, or like yeah, it's
Hmm.
like there's a bunch of different components in it. So Kreger's already walking into that mess with it. And then you have like the OG fans of the game, like everything has to look like the game for me to like buy this. And if you want that Resident Evil title in your film, you have to earn it. So that's the
Hmm.
whole complaint right there. What if we just threw this out
Yeah.
and be excited for Resident Evil? What
Yeah.
if we just
Throw it away.
take all the oh, this doesn't look like the original film, and then like
Hmm.
I know what these games should look like. Let's take all that.
Hmm. That's what audiences should be doing. And I think anytime there is a video game adaptation, just there's always the people that are like, meh, I played the game's better. It's like, well, then go play the game. We think this looks awesome, and we're very excited for it. We're very excited for it.
I don't doubt him for a second. I don't know why
Hmm.
anybody would. There's this trend in, you saw it with Chris Stuckman. As soon as people saw Shelby Oaks, they were
Yeah.
done giving him his flowers for like accomplishing his dream. Like his dream was to make a movie and he did it.
Hmm. We
But
did.
as soon as like they get Peanut Gallery going and it grows and it grows and it grows and it grows like a tumor, it's like, oh yeah, you can just go back to making YouTube videos. Like this sucks or whatever. Like, no, you can't do that anymore. You guys cannot be selectively supportive of somebody and then if it doesn't align with what you want it to be you like go back to being mean. Like that's not how being an adult works.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say was that I even told you this in the middle of this week. I was like, where's that Ira Lung guy at? I was like, he
Yeah.
released a film independently and he made a movie. Where
Hmm.
are the studios at with like getting him some video game IP? Because these horror isolation games, they kick ass and he could handle one of them. In that same conversation, like somebody more in the industry like Fede Alvarez, he literally
Hmm.
made a video game adaptation game of Alien. You guys can't not want things and then also want things at the same time.
Yeah. Hmm.
Because then at the end of the day, all these directors are going to put this shit down and be like, I'm done.
And also, it's like this movie hasn't even come out yet. How do they know it's not like there's elements of the game that's like, wait, I actually did kind of like that. Like that was cool. And we're in the same boat here. Like we think he's a perfect director to make something like this, and we're incredibly excited for it. And Krager is just firing on all cylinders right now, and we love to see it. We love to see it. So that brings us to our final trailer of the week, and that is Office Romance, coming from Netflix. It is directed by Ol Park. It stars Brett Goldstein, Jennifer Lopez, Betty Gilpin, Edward James Olmos, Bradley Whitford, Amy Sedaris, Tony Hale, Jodie Whittaker, Rick Hoffman, and Will Sasso. So Netflix kind of giving counter programming to One Night Only with their own little rom-com coming out. Looks very 2000s rom-com. I'll say it looks very 2000s rom-com.
I'm actually excited for this.
Yeah,
There's like
yeah.
there's multiple things. I don't do you know
Yeah,
I'm a Brett
it's not
Goldstein
a
fan?
No, I didn't know that
You
from
didn't know
like Ted
that?
Lasso, and he also co-created Shrinking on
Yeah.
Apple TV.
You
Yeah.
know, I'm actually like a big fan of his comedy, like a really big
Oh,
fan.
really?
Yeah, I thought I told you this. I like him a lot. I think there's something like real about his comedy. He's a screenwriter for this.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know
Yeah.
that? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm freaking out right now. Hold on. I like Red Goldstein. I
No,
like him a
I like him
lot.
too. I like him
So
too.
whenever I saw this, I was really excited. Sorry, I'm freaking out right now. I haven't freaked out. See, another film for me. I get what you're saying about the trailer feeling very 2000s. I guess why I'm so excited is because this is a snag for Netflix because he could have done this anywhere, but he's doing it on Netflix. It's because he wants people to see his film and he wants people to
Hmm.
see his talent. He is really good with the pen, and I feel like those jokes hit and that dialogue hits. He knows when to say fuck. He knows when to drop the punch on the
Yeah.
whole
Hmm.
joke. And I'm excited for Jennifer Lopez to have a good script like that in her hand. Like, don't blow it, J-Lo. Don't blow it.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
this could resurge her career. This could
Hmm.
be something like that. And I don't want her to phone it in. I want her to like I know they've already made this film, but it'd be really cool to see J-Lo with a really solid script and a good co-star. I want to see Jennifer Lopez with a good co-star and a good screenplay in her hand because
Hmm.
it could resurge her career and maybe she does more funny shit like with
Hmm.
at the level of Brett Goldstein or maybe even like Tim Robinson one day. That would be
Yeah. That'd
funny.
be hilarious. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because J-Lo is still J-Lo. Yeah, there's been all this like annoying crap in like the later half of like the 2000s with her or whatever, but it's J-Lo. I mean, she's gonna be there regardless. So
Hmm.
like she's gonna be doing stuff. And then like kind of like a tie-in to like the Selena film, Jennifer Lopez and Edward James Olmos in another film together is kind of crazy.
Hmm.
Because he played her
Hmm.
dad in Selena. I just think it's cool that Netflix is giving Brett Goldstein a like this one feels like it's gonna be pretty dirty. Like as far
Yeah.
as like the dialogue goes, like you can't have this on in the background like while your little kids are playing with toys in front of the TV and like all you hear is like fuck, shit, fuck.
No,
Like, you know,
exactly.
and that's like the whole point that maybe I feel like Brett Goldstein is trying to prove is that like pay attention to this movie, like
And
there's
you
gonna be
can
a lot
make
of cussing.
Yeah, you can make rom-coms that have a lot of cussing in it. And I think
Exactly.
I know he did say that he wrote this role specifically for Jennifer Lopez because I think he
Mm-hmm.
loves all of her 2000s rom-coms. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
Jennifer Lopez, like she was in a lot of 2000s rom-coms. Like she
I'm
was like
still
the
trying to
pinnacle
get you to
there.
watch I'm still trying to get you to watch Monster-in-Law, man. Like there's some good Adam Scott's in that.
Mhm.
That's Adam Scott. What the
But yeah, it's like I think it's like a thing too. Like
fuck?
it's like Netflix has that counter programming to these studios. Like they can also make those rom-coms. I know they've tried to in the past, and some of them just like aren't very good. But I mean, this one looks pretty solid. Like it looks pretty good. It looks like a very when I say 2000s rom-com, it's not like it's like a dig on the film. It's like no, that's like the market that you should be making, and so you should be marketing to because those are the height of rom-coms.
Can you promise to watch Monster-in-Law
I will.
soon? Like
I will.
ASAP, man.
I will.
Jane Fonda's in that. I feel like that's the kind of exact film that Brett Goldstein is trying to pull out of her again. I mean, it's just cool to think that like there's comedians and actors that still look up to these people even though like things aren't hitting right or it's like a hand up. He wants to excel from this, but he also wants to give credit to like the people that like, you know, he looked up to whenever he was going on the scene.
Yeah, I like Brett Goldstein too. I mean, he co-created Ted Lasso. He co-created Shrinking. He writes a lot on those, and yeah, I think he just directed a couple episodes. So, yeah, and he wrote this, and yeah, I like the tone that he always goes for, and
Hmm.
yeah, I'm excited. This is and it's also a very stacked cast, so it's great to
Yeah.
see. And yeah, having Jennifer Lopez back in a rom-com, it will attract people. People are going to be like, oh, I want to watch that. I want to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I know for sure my dad's watching it. Like, come on. I
Mm,
mean, it's
yeah.
just like
Yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be heavily watched on Netflix. I think it's gonna be a heavily watched film on Netflix.
like man, Netflix kind of knows what they're doing right now.
Well, there's a reason why they're the top streaming service. There's a reason why, and they always will be. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. So, just to recap, the trailers this week were Jackass Best and Last, Verity, One Night Only, Resident Evil, and Office Romance. If you're excited for any of them, all of them, none of them, please let us know. And you heard our thoughts on them, and we're excited for a couple of them. We're very excited for a couple of them. So that brings us to the news of the week. And first up, a Django slash Zorro crossover movie is in the works, and Tarantino Well, he will not direct the film, but he has given Sony his blessing to develop. So, a very interesting Django Zorro crossover, which I guess someone was just like really high one day and was like, "Hey, what if Django and Zorro were in the same movie?"
It's not like a graphic novel or
I
comic
think it is. I think
adaptation.
it might be. I think it might be a graphic novel, but I just wanted to make a joke there.
You're like, hey, can you let me have my fucking moment?
Yeah, I think it might be a graphic novel, but yeah, I guess Tarantino isn't going to be like involved in it at all. He's kind of just like, yeah, go for it, whatever. So people love Django Unchained. Some people, that's their favorite Tarantino film, and Zorro's always a big property. So I mean, yeah, if it's a graphic, I haven't read the graphic novel. I don't know if you have either, but yeah, it could be a very interesting, very bloody film.
How much would you anticipate that film would cost to make?
Probably not a lot, honestly. Like, I don't know if Tarantino would be like, I want some money for it because it's like something that I created. So you maybe have to give
Hmm.
it a little more, but they could give him box office too. Like anything that's made box office wise, it can go to him. And I don't think it would be a huge budget, honestly. I don't think it would be a huge budget.
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking more of like the aspect of like action sequences and like practical effects and everything. I would feel like they'd want to do something really, really special with that one. I would wonder if it would be shot like a Western and like just kind of the bones of it. I would be interested to be in the development room for that
Yeah.
film just to like
Hmm.
hear about the bare bones of it. And then I would like not want to know anything about it for like 2.5 years and be like, I'm
Yeah.
ready.
It'd be like a Western kind of like adventure film. It'd be very interesting
Hmm.
to develop. And yeah, I mean, we'll see. Again, it's in the works. Maybe they're just going to start writing a script and see where they can go with it, but we'll see what happens there. Another piece of news this week is that Sam Neill has announced that he is cancer free after 5 years of battling blood cancer. And he said, it's time I did another movie. So it's awesome to hear that Sam Neill is now cancer free and wish him all the best. And he's doing well. And yeah, let's get him back in some movies.
Yeah, congrats, Sam Neill. That's like some really good news. Some good
Mm,
news on the weekly recap,
yeah,
which is
some good news.
awesome. I think I saw that he is interested in maybe doing another Jurassic Park
Oh,
film.
maybe. I mean, he was in Dominion, which was not received very well. But yeah, I would love to see him come back as Alan Grant and get Spielberg to direct it. Make him make one last Jurassic film, which I don't think he ever
That sounds
will, but
awesome.
maybe. But yeah, that's awesome, Samuel. Good news. Good news.
Good news.
Another piece of news this week is that the original cast and directors will now be executive producing the new Blair Witch reboot, and they had previously called out Lionsgate for not consulting them about the reboot. Seems like Lionsgate has heard them, and they're going to be consulting and talking about it, and it's good news. They came together, and maybe it'll be some elements from the first original film into this one now.
Lionsgate has been surprising me a lot, especially in this year. Say, for example, like they're making a mistake or like something's going on. Like, for example, like Nia Long is currently disputing her pay in the Michael movie right now
Hmm.
because she didn't get a payout as big as Coleman Domingo whenever her
Hmm.
role was reduced down during the cut. What I'm seeing from Lionsgate right now, as far as like at least what's being accessible to us, like in publication, is that they are correcting things if they make a mistake. Whenever something is presented to them that they do wrong, they will fix it or work
Fix
on
it.
it.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
this is cool that they're working on it. I don't know necessarily if I need another new Blair Witch film, but maybe this new generation can, throw up in their movie theater seat whenever
Hmm.
they go check this out.
Again, too, I don't know if I need another Blair Witch film. It seems like Blair Witch was kind of a product of its time. And a lot of people that have never seen it watch it and they're like, didn't really care for it. Because it's like, if you really
Yeah.
think about that film, like nothing really happens until the last like 3 minutes. Like nothing's
Yeah.
really happening at the last 3 minutes. But good for them to seem to come together and work out their differences and yeah, hope for the best for them. Hope for the best.
Yeah.
Another piece of news this week is that Warner Brothers, Amazon, MGM, Sony, Universal, and Netflix have all submitted bids to acquire the Battlefield movie. It is being directed by Christopher McQuarrie and it stars Michael B. Jordan. Possibly. He is producing, but he is possibly starring in it. Which is, if you have a lot of studios circling this project, that means they have possibly read the script and they really like it. And it's now starring an Academy Award winner, so, or possibly starring an Academy Award winner. So it's interesting when you have a lot of studios bidding for it that, hey, there could be something here.
Last one that we heard of a studio battle with was weapons. So yeah,
Hmm.
it's around the same amount of electricity as that. So just to kind of put in your head, he's easily becoming on that same level as the greats.
Hmm.
Denzel, Leo, Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, clear path. I mean,
Hmm.
every time he doesn't do something with Ryan Coogler, I'm gonna be like, "Where's Ryan Coogler?"
Ryan Coogler has to be producing. He has to
But
be.
would you agree? Would you agree?
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan is becoming like that star. People know who he is now, and him
Hmm.
solidifying that Academy Award winning win, like, yeah, he's getting in the conversation of the top actors working right now. And if he continues down this path, yeah, he's going to be a household name for a long time. I agree. I agree. Our next piece of news this week is that Michael 2 is moving forward with meetings for the film taking place very shortly. Filming will begin this year or 2027, depending on Antoine Fuqua's schedule. Now, I'm sure they're going to have to work out that, like you said, the pay dispute with Nia Long. And yeah, this movie has, I think, officially crossed 300 million worldwide, and it's still going. It's only been out for a week, and yeah, Michael 2 is gearing up. I'm sure they probably already have the script ready to go. It looks like they're going to probably start shooting very soon.
I'm just kidding. I think that the state, as well as Lionsgate and Universal, they decide to distribute it that way again. I think they are ready to embrace whatever is coming to them as far as like
Hmm.
doing these. Hearing the family talk so confidently with even one of his sons being a producer on it, and then of course it's his nephew. It's like the classic American story of there being family
Hmm.
drama. I mean,
Hmm.
that's everywhere. There's drama in every single family. They seem like to just be pushing forward and wanting to tell this story. Matt Bellany, he dropped a big old bomb the
Hmm.
weekend after this
Hmm.
film rolled out about what the screenplay originally was and everything. But that's the thing about an original draft of the screenplay is that it's not the final product. So
Yeah. Hmm.
whoever wrote the screenplay, probably somebody pointed out like, hey, this should be about Michael, and this shouldn't be like
Hmm.
an explanation for like how he ended up in all those things in the 90s and 2000s.
Yeah.
People who are going to see these films are going to see like Michael Jackson perform his music.
Hmm.
Nobody is going to that theater to like tell the internet, oh, I'm here to defend Michael. No, they're just going to
Yeah.
be. So
Fans of Michael.
I'm surprised that they're wanting to embrace the
Hmm.
current climate and culture, but maybe it's taking away some of its power.
To me, it could be seen as like a risk to do this because there are aspects in the second half of his life that people are going to probably be upset. Like you said, there, and it's not going to be in this film, but people are going for the music mainly. But yeah, it seems like, yeah, this movie is done very well. And they've had this script already ready to go in case they were going to make a sequel because there's a lot of Michael Jackson's life you can keep making movies about. And it seems like they're going to push forward and depending on Antoine Fuqua's schedule. So it looks like they're going to push forward. So that brings us to our final piece of news this week, and is that the Oscars have updated some of their rules. They've updated a few of their rules. First up, the Oscar for Best International Feature will no longer be awarded to the country or region. Instead, it will be presented to the film's director. Now, long overdue. I don't know why it took them this long to do this. The film should be going to the exact filmmaker that made it, not to the country. And then some countries do, I think, give them the Oscar, like, no, you actually made this. But usually those Oscars go into like a museum somewhere, like, oh, this won the Academy Award for international feature. But yeah, it's good to see that they're updating those rules to give it to the filmmaker. Another rule that they have added is that the Academy has banned AI from ever winning an Oscar. Only roles performed by humans with their consent can be nominated for acting Oscars, and screenplays must be human authored to qualify for any nomination. So, very good news there. Would this go into like also if VFX uses AI, could that not get any nomination there? Like, I don't know how much this stretches into every single category. I don't know if it's just acting. It seems like they're saying no to AI. They're taking a firm stance to be like, hey, I don't care if James Dean stars in this film next year, he will not be nominated for an Academy Award. That's just not happening, which is very, very, very good news here. Very good news. And the final update that they gave was that actors can now be nominated twice in the same category for separate films at the Oscars. So you can have an actor or actress be nominated for Best Actress twice for two separate films in that category. Originally, you could not have that. I think I was telling you this may have been done in the past, like maybe someone did have enough votes that they could have gotten another nomination for a separate film, but they were already getting a nomination for one, so they didn't give it to them. So I guess maybe the Academy is trying to cover all of its bases. And it's also very interesting. I think I was telling you that you are an actor or actress that gets two nominations for two separate films for Best Actress. Does that kind of maybe hurt your chances of winning? Because people don't know which of your roles to vote for. You're kind of splitting the vote.
Yeah, we were trying to discuss this during the week and be like, wouldn't you just be eating into your own nomination as
Hmm.
well as like taking away from like a maybe more like prestigious performance? And then also we're trying to get into like the logistics of like the AI stuff and everything. And whenever you said VFX, I was like, man, we have like a lot to discuss whenever it comes to this that I don't know, we're gonna have to break this down before we talk about it because there is like a lot of logistics here that I feel like people will just like, scroll and read this and be like, oh, what's this? Okay, I don't care. There's more things at
Mm.
play here. Like something's happening here and it's gonna change the way how people get nominated and everything. And now will it be every
Hmm.
time? Like this actor got nominated for two films that they were in the same category and they were similar films. Like that's not gonna happen every single time. Like it's not
Yeah,
like
no,
repeat,
no.
repeat,
Yeah.
repeat. There's a lot to talk about with it.
It's almost like the Academy is covering their bases for this ever happens. And like again, we don't know like if this ever will happen. The odds of
Yeah.
it it's for those listening, this is not going to be happening every single year. Like it's just not going to happen every single year. That's just not how that works. It has happened maybe behind closed doors before a couple times where an actor had enough votes for two separate performances and didn't get it because they don't do that for acting. But I think it'd be more interesting to see who the first actor or actress this happens to. I feel like if it did, it would come more of in a supporting character role as opposed
I
to
think
lead.
so too. That's where Pat and I were like thinking the category because they were like, it's going to be interesting. I think the category is going to be supporting, which is going to make
Yeah,
supporting even
even
way
more.
more crazy
Yeah, way
and
more
more of
crazy.
a lottery. It's going to be like,
Hmm.
well, which one are they going to win for?
Yeah, exactly. We think it would land more in the supporting because you can do more supporting performances as opposed to just doing one lead in there. With the AI, is that like across the board or is that only within acting and screenplay? Because
Yeah.
I know some films like Avatar, they have said that they used AI in certain ways. So it's like, is this moving forward now? Any AI in any aspect is banned.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll come out with more dialogue and detail as the next Academy Awards roll along. But yeah, it's interesting that they seem to be doing a strong shift to what they want. And it seems like a very good shift. Very, very good shift. So before we wrap up, we wanted to do a little game of us predicting what the summer box office is going to be for a select few films. We have a select few here, which we think are like the big blockbusters of the year. The first one we're going to guess is just came out this week, and that is The Devil Wears Prada 2. What do you think will be like the overall box office projection once it's done?
This is so hard because we can't look at anything.
No, you
So
got to
like this is gonna
guess.
be so dumb. Like what I was just like so dumb and like say like an insane amount like the movie can like never like do. Like are we talking about domestic or
Over,
overall?
it's like worldwide box office, worldwide.
Overall box office. Okay, so for The Devil Wears Prada 2, I am gonna go with 250.
250 million worldwide? Okay.
250.
I'll say 350. I think it's going to make a little more. We can have the range of 250 to 350. We'll do like a range. 250 to 350 mil is what we'll do.
Okay, yeah.
So we think that Devil's Prada 2 will make 250 to 350 million worldwide.
Are we insane?
Now for the next one, Mortal Kombat 2. What do we think the box office for that's going to be projection?
So you said the first one came out in COVID, and
Hmm.
that's why the numbers are weird.
Low. Yeah.
Okay. I would say, would it perform at the same time, like around Mortal Kombat, like being performing around the same level as Devil Wears Prada 2?
Yeah, I mean it's going to be like overseas, like it could make a lot more money overseas. So I'm going to say it's going to be around 400 mil. I'm going to say 400.
Okay, I'm gonna say three.
Okay, we'll do 300 to 400 million.
This is hard.
Mhm. So the next up is Star Wars: The Mandalorian and Grogu. Now, I think this is going to make money, but I don't think it's going to make as much money as people think.
This is overall, right? Overall.
Overall, yeah.
Okay. This premieres on Memorial Day weekend all by itself, but like I'm the same
Mm,
way. I don't think it's gonna have the same buyer as like what they're expecting. We could be
yeah.
so freaking wrong. I'm gonna say 270.
270 worldwide, 270, you think?
270.
270? I'll say up to 400. I'll say 270 to 400 million is like that range. We can just do these ranges. And we
I'm
could be wrong. We could
lowballing
go
for it so we
over
don't look like dumbasses.
it. The next one is Masters of the Universe. I think this one is not going to be a lot. I think this is going to finish around like 200 million worldwide.
You think so?
Hmm.
I'm gonna say the same thing. We can do 200.
200
I
million.
feel comfortable
Okay.
with that.
Scary movie.
I'm gonna go
Uh,
ahead and say that this is gonna perform at the same level, if not a little bit better than Scream 7. So whatever Scream 7 made is what I'm gonna guess. Let me look.
I'm gonna say like 100 million. I think it's gonna make like 100 million.
So mine is
I think I'm
different.
100. What's yours? What did you say? We can do the
It
range.
worldwide was 213.
Oh, so we could say 100 to 200.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say 100 to 200. Disclosure day.
Spielberg, but it's original and it's not connected to a franchise. I'm gonna say 7.
700 million.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say 600. So 600 to
Nice.
700.
600 to 700 is good. See, I feel like those first two were really hard for us.
Mm-hmm. Toy Story 5, easy billion. One over
Yeah,
bill. We
a
can just
Billy
say 1
movie.
billion. 1
Go ahead
billion.
and put that down for Moana too.
We have one on here. We'll say 1
Mhm.
billion there with the success of Lilo and Stitch last year. So yeah, this should be
Brand New
protected
Day
there. Supergirl.
3.
Yeah, I was gonna say 300 million. I think. Minions and Monsters. I think is gonna be like 800 to 900.
Yeah, 800 and 900 for sure. These
The
are just
Odyssey.
projections. The
Mm,
Odyssey, I would say around
I would say
8.
around 700 to 800. I would say 850.
I would say to 800.
700 to 800. And Spider-Man Brand New Day. Last one. You think it's
Billy.
gonna be 1 bill? Just to
This
recap.
seems spot on.
Just to recap real quick, The Devil Wears Prada 2, we think is going to make 250 to 350 million worldwide. Mortal Kombat 2, 300 to 400 million worldwide. Star Wars The Mandalorian and Grogu, 270 to 400 million worldwide. Masters of the Universe, 200 million worldwide. Scary Movie, 100 to 200 million worldwide. Disclosure Day, 600 to 700 million worldwide. Toy Story 5, 1 billion worldwide. Supergirl, 300 million worldwide. Minions and Monsters, 800 to 900 million worldwide. Moana, 1 billion worldwide. The Odyssey, 700 to 800 million worldwide. And Spider-Man Brand New Day, 1 billion worldwide. So I guess we can check back at later dates to see how well we're doing on this projection. And I think this is pretty solid. I think it's pretty solid overall projection.
That was a fun exercise
Hmm.
slash game. I just told Pat that I think it would be fun to kind of like guess at what these films are gonna make before
Hmm.
summer. Like we're entering summer, and I know that's like a big component right now. I know it's been a healthy year so far, but we were kind of being like honest in our projections. Like some of these films like have to make this, or like
Hmm.
it's not gonna look good. It's
Yeah.
like a honest projection just like of what we know of like the industry and
Hmm.
everything. Like I also have to like factor in like the marketing of some of these, so those numbers might be bumped up just a little bit from that. But
Hmm.
would you say almost like these have to perform at these levels in order to be
I think
deemed a
so.
success?
I think
Yeah,
so. Yeah.
I think that's where our projections come from.
I'm excited to see what we do with this. So I'm excited to see how it gets. I'm excited to see how it gets.
It was fun to guess with this together.
It was very fun, yeah. So that brings us to the trivia of the week. And last week's trivia question was how many films of A Star is Born have been made? And the hint was that there is more than one. Now, if you were paying attention to a certain letterbox image that they posted on Instagram, they may have given you the answer. And I didn't even know that until after we recorded. But the answer is four. There is four A Star is Born films. I always say this, but technically, the first Star is Born is also a remake of another film. So technically, there could be considered five, but the first original film didn't have the title A Star is Born. But the answer is four. So if you got that correct, good job. Now, this week's trivia question is when was the Criterion Collection founded? And the hint is that it is before 1995. Good luck on that question. And Criterion Collection is before 1995. So good luck. Good luck to
I was
everyone
such
on
a
that question.
I was such a dumbass, and I thought you put down the answer, and I thought the answer was before 1990.
So that brings us to our film score recs of the week. And surprisingly, we may have chosen the same composer for our film score recs. I went with John Williams' Lincoln score. And what did you go with, Tony?
I don't look at this doc until I show up and ready to hit record, and I put down my notes onto our notes. So, in the spirit of summer, like it's summer, like this is
Hmm.
summer, like I'm trying to make myself excited about things again. I know it's just been such
Hmm.
like an insane year, like all around for everything, I feel like.
Hmm.
But I'm like trying to get like back into like my little kid ways of like what made it feel like a summer, what made me
Hmm.
feel like running outside through the sprinklers with popsicle, eating a sandwich and chips on the back of a pickup truck, like kind of feeling. And that's this right here, The Lost World Jurassic Park by John Williams from 1997. It's time that we start doing things that make us feel good again. And this season,
Mm-hmm.
this is all I want. Like, I want the summer movie blockbuster this summer. Like, I want to feel like a kid again, and I want to feel good about life again. And I want to listen to film scores like this, like The Lost World Jurassic Park, and that's it. I want to lean into the blockbuster thing for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and I just want to feel good again. And I
Mm-hmm.
like yours too because it's John Williams, but it's so
Mm-hmm.
cool that we're like on the same wavelength, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just time. I feel like whenever people are like really stressed out or like they have a lot going on in life, they lean on music and movies. Go put on The Lost World Jurassic Park and Lincoln as well. Like go put on
Mm-hmm.
these and take yourself back to like a better time.
No, I couldn't agree more. It's like, yeah, you want that summer kid feeling, and so John Williams kind of brings that out of you, like he really does. And I love that we both picked a John Williams score. I think it's perfect. And yeah, we're trying to have happy summer over here. Happy summer over here.
Just trying to have a happy vibe, okay?
So that brings us to our film recommendation this week. And Tony, what is your film recommendation this week?
Well, you showed me this film, and
I
it is
did.
insane. And I quote, "That was the sexiest thing I've ever seen in my life." Steven Soderbergh's Ocean 11 from
Hell yeah.
2001.
Hell fucking yeah. Great
I'm so
fucking
blown
film.
away. And you're telling me there's
Great
two
fucking
more
film.
films I haven't seen
There's
yet?
two more. And there's a Ocean's 8, which isn't even part of it. And they might be making another one. They might be making Ocean's 14. Ocean's 11. That's an amazing pick. Amazing pick.
I loved it so much. I want to see more like that for sure.
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
so sure. And I'm like saying it like this because I can't wait somebody to be like, "You never seen Ocean's 11 before? It's crazy, bro." And I'll be like, "Yeah, no, I haven't. Watched it with Pat. And it was really fun night. It's
Hell yeah.
crazy.
Hell yeah. I'm so glad we watched this. So glad.
It was so much fun. What's your pick?
My pick is Bringing Up Baby from 1938 and is directed by Howard Hawks. It stars Katharine Hepburn and Cary Grant. It's just another little screwball comedy, right as those two were picking up steam and becoming some of the biggest actors of all time. And I think it's great. Highly recommend the late 30s, early 40s screwball comedies that Cary Grant was incredible in. Incredible in. Highly recommend. Highly recommend.
A little bit. It makes me happy that the way you talk about it. I just imagine some of our listeners that like never seen you before, like just imagine you like walk around town like like this kind of like with like a little fedora. Be like, "Hello, my
Mm,
lady."
that's me. I'm just
And
wearing
like a
I'm
full
just wearing
suit.
I'm just wearing TCM shirts all day. That's all I'm wearing. So that brings us to the end of this weekly film news. I hope you all enjoyed this episode very much. We had fun recording, I had a lot of fun recording it. I love doing the box office projections. That was so fun. We hope you all enjoyed this episode. Somewhat of a little bit of a meaty episode too. I liked a lot what we were talking about there. And yeah, I'm really excited to see how our box office projections do as the summer goes along. And with that, I think we can say, hey, Tony, go watch a fucking movie.
Hey, Pat, go watch a fucking movie.
This podcast is hosted and edited by Pat Brennan. That's me, with intro and closing music by Patrick Baxter.